All right, guys. So, man, what a tough way to go out and see your arch rival win a championship. Really, really tough. To not win the Pac-12 championship, to not win the Heisman Trophy, to not compete for a national championship in the playoffs, most likely. Very tough pill to swallow. But in this game, all I can say, and I know it's going to sound corny, but all I can say to the Oregon Ducks is thank you, and I enjoyed the heck out of this season. Down 20-3. They score a touchdown before the half with a great drive. Second half, they go out there and they convert multiple fourth down conversions, score a touchdown 20-17. They get a turnover. Then Bo Nix, throws a turnover, but then the defense bounces back. They get Penix off the field, and then they go up 24-20. And really, that series there, that was the ball game. And they let McMillan get behind them. And just like in Seattle, Oregon had a 4-point lead. They gave up a touchdown, and Washington won. And whenever Washington needed a drive, Washington would always have a drive. And that is why, in a game like this and in a game like football, that is why, in sports, it does come down to a couple of plays here or there, but it's a team game. And Bo Nix had a pretty successful second half. He also had an interception. Also, after Washington scored that touchdown, I think that the Ducks then went 6 and out on their next drive. Bo Nix ended up getting sacked. Bo Nix ended up getting sacked on a 3rd and 9 when they tried a quarterback draw. Or in the first half, which was a debacle, Oregon went down 20-3. Their defense was absolutely getting torched by Michael Penix. And then Oregon's offense, when they did get on the field, they would go 3 and out. They couldn't even convert a 3rd and 1. So it was a choppy game, and the better football team won. And Washington, whenever Washington has to play a big game, they went on the road and they beat Oregon State. And Oregon's secondary this year against Texas Tech, against Washington, even against Washington State, they gave up some yardage. It's a really, really good football team, but like every team that is out there, they can be beaten. And Michael Penix is the Heisman Trophy winner. And Washington, as painful as it is to say, they are the better team, and right now they probably are the better program. But Oregon is recruiting really well. I'm on board with Dan Lanning. I think that defensively, this team can win in the trenches and can get better and better. But I am sick for the guys like Troy Franklin, probably his last game. Bo Nix, what a journey for Bo Nix. Wins the Holiday Bowl. They win 10 games last year. They beat Utah at home. They have an epic duel against Washington. And then this year, Civil War champions against Oregon State. They go to Utah and they kill Utah. They win an epic game against Texas Tech. They beat Washington State at home. They kill USC. And I know that everybody can kind of mock USC, but to do that to USC at home, there were just so many great moments. And 95% of the season was incredible. And this Oregon Ducks program, it's an elite program. It really is. Washington is up there as well. And a couple of plays here and there, and Oregon, could be a team that can beat Washington. And it's because of Bo Nix, man. He had that long run. That huge touchdown to Holden was amazing late in the game. Oregon had their moments in this game, and down 20-3, the team didn't flinch. And Dan Lanning's an incredible guy, and it's easy now. All the bandwagoners are going to hop off the bandwagon, but people that are Oregon fans are going to realize how special and all the progress that this team makes. I mean, none of the ridiculous losses against Stanford or no playing down to your opponent. That's what made this team so special, is how decisive they play against their best, against the best of the best. And, it is disappointing because they didn't play to the standard tonight. They got beat, 3rd and 5 every time Washington needed a play, 3rd and 2 on the goal line. Washington out-schemed Oregon, but their guys made one-on-one plays, Polk, their wide receivers, and when the ball was in the air, the progress wasn't there. All the progress from week 5 to this week, all the success and all the practice, it didn't formulate in the game. Oregon played better in Washington than Washington did. And, I believe that Washington is a 10-point dog, because Oregon's played so well. I thought that Oregon made the progress as well, but Washington made progress in their own right, and they own Oregon. I mean, Penix is 3-0, DeBoer is 3-0 against Lanning and Oregon, and including a win in Eugene, and that's just what it is. I mean, Oregon needed to come out tonight and sack Michael Penix and make his life a living hell, and Michael Penix had all day to throw the ball. Washington ran for over 130 yards rushing. I mean, I'm going to pull up the statistics because, you could feel depressed and sad, absolutely, but the better team ended up winning this game tonight. And, that's football and that's life. And Washington could very well go on to win a national championship. In a 12-team playoff, Oregon would be getting in, but I don't believe that even Oregon deserves to go to the playoff. They do deserve a berth in the Fiesta Bowl, a New Year's Six Bowl, and they do deserve an opportunity to try to win a New Year's Six Bowl, which meant something to some people, and it means something to me. I want to go out there and win a championship. I still do. So ESPN, college football, going to go now and read you guys all the team stats from this ball game. All right. So Washington had 480 yards of offense in this contest. They had 480 yards. So, you can't cry too much. I mean, you got to go back to the drawing board. If you're Dan Lanning and Tosh Lepore, you're built on the defensive side of the ball. You got beat, man. You got beat. Washington. Let's see. I want to see the conversion rate. There we go. 10 of 15 on 3rd down. There you go. Running, 157 yards of running, 324 through the air, 10 of 15 on 3rd down. That's your game. Oregon on 3rd down. 3 of 10. Oregon did have 360 yards. Bo Nix today had a pretty good game. I mean, he ran the football well. He had that huge run down the sideline. Had a pretty good quarterback rating. Threw for 3 touchdowns. Completed 21 of 34. But it's tough sledding, man. Washington has a tremendous, tremendous defense. Washington's defense they're really elite. I mean, they can play elite ball, and they did against Oregon State. And they did tonight. So I love where this program is going. I'm really sad for Bo Nix because I wanted a Pac-12 championship. A part of me, in a weird way, this is kind of a weird thing to say, but the fact that Oregon still could have won, and then Texas and Alabama could have won, and Florida State, and maybe Oregon wouldn't have gotten in anyway, maybe that takes the pain of this loss, but to lose to Washington again, but you have to hand it to Michael Penix. You have to hand it to McMillan, Rome Odunze. Polk made a great reception. They have awesome skill guys. And when your skill guys are that elite, when you have the Heisman Trophy winner, and you probably have the Belindenkoff Award, at least a finalist, at least if it wasn't for Marvin Harrison, Odunze's the best receiver. So Washington has a ton of talent. Their lines of scrimmages are incredibly underrated, and I thought that Oregon would win that point of attack, and they didn't. It's really sad for the kids, for the seniors, man. Like, I don't know if Jeffrey Boss is a senior, but, Casey Rogers, Bo Nix, Troy Franklin's probably going on the next level. Tez Johnson, too, is an experienced senior. It really hurts for those guys, man. And Bo's put in 2 unbelievable years at Oregon, and he's probably going to be in New York as a Heisman finalist. And that's an incredible feat for him. Even if he didn't win the Heisman, for him to be recognized, up for, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, a top 5 quarterback in the sport, an 11-1 regular season, that's still awesome. That's still awesome. Got to tell you, I do enjoy maybe a 4-team or 6-team playoff. I do. Or even how the BCS did it. There can only be, one national champion. And now with the transfer portal and everything, the sport of football is not as centralized on maybe a Nebraska and Oklahoma. Even in Alabama, I think that there's great football being played everywhere. In the Pac-12, now to see schools like Stanford and Cal, to see them have to go to the ACC, and to see Arizona and Arizona State out of this conference, and to see UCLA and USC, to see the Rose Bowl pretty much detach and not be a thing, it hurts. And to see the sport go to a 12-team playoff, even though I love Oregon, and people who know this channel know that I love the Oregon Ducks and Dan Lanning, this entire team like Dorless and Birch and all those guys who are kept really quiet tonight, I love this team and what they put in. I can respect the work. It's a great connected group, as Dan Lanning said. He said it was more connected even than the championship teams he had at the University of Georgia. It's a great coaching staff, every single man on that coaching staff. But the thing is that even though I love Oregon, I don't believe that they should get an opportunity to, go compete for a championship. It should be Washington. It should be the top dog in the conference. And it's unfortunate, but Washington is that. And it's not a luck thing at all. It's not like Oregon outplayed Washington at all. Tonight, Washington outplayed Oregon. You could even argue in the second quarter, I had people chirping me that maybe bet on Washington or whatnot, that was a pass interference, that wasn't a pass interference. I thought that it was. But again, Dan Lanning managed the middle 8 really well in the game, kept his timeouts. And honestly, just the scheme of DeBoer and Ryan Grubb. Can't believe Ryan Grubb's not a head coach. That's going to hurt for Oregon fans. That hurts a lot that Ryan Grubb and DeBoer get to keep doing this together, because they cook up the best offense in all of the country, and a bunch of impatient ADs were not willing to give a chance to Ryan Grubb to be a head football coach maybe at a program. So he's a stud. DeBoer is awesome. It hurts to say that, but Washington is really the better team, and up 20-3, all those big explosive plays. It was jarring because Oregon's been so dominant on the defensive side of the ball. In every single game Washington State was able to get to 16 points. USC had to scrap and claw for every single yard that they made. But really, it was all day to throw. They were manhandled at the line of scrimmage. Things were coming easy. And Penix and that offense was just, they could have walked down the field all night long if they weren't making self-inflicted mistakes. 480 yards, man, that's not good enough to win a football game. That's just, and Dan Lanning, the thing I love about him is that they always have doctor appointments, and how do you get better and go from good to great, and that's what they're going to keep doing, man. But all season long, this team has played a complete brand of football. It's been a beautiful team to watch play. An 11-1 season is a special season. I don't care what level you're at. And then you get into the playoffs and you have a chance. And this was like a playoff game, man, in Vegas. So this was a great atmosphere and a great game. And it should hurt. If you care about sports, if you love sports, it should hurt. And that's why you got to love sports, because it hurts and because the winning feels so good. And the hurting, for me, a loss stings longer than a win feels really good. A win will feel good for a little while. If you win a championship, it'll always feel good. But the loss is going to sting, man. It's going to sting. So, and I don't know if you'll ever get over it, but that's sports. Just like winning, you don't get over either. Alrighty, guys, but that's life. It builds adversity, and that's real life. Anyway and anyhow, college is there's a finality to it. There's a finality to the Pac-12 and a finality to college football. You know, Bo Nix, if he decided to, you know, in the National Football League, he can play as long as he wants. In college football and in college sports, man, your time is up. And I even love this COVID year. I love students staying for 5 years. Love them staying in college, getting postgraduate degrees. They have the ability to transfer. I love seeing fifth-year players because they can develop at their sport. They even have a better chance for the professional level. Look at Aiden O'Connell right now, and look at some of the older players, you know, like Hendon Hooker. I'm just telling you that fifth year, I know it opened it up because of COVID, but it also balances out the playing field, gives these guys NIL pay. I think that a fifth year to get a graduate degree, I think that's enough. I think 6 will be too much, but got to tell you, it's something that, you know, because of the pandemic, I believe that this thing happened, this COVID year, but it's benefited, and we got to see a great year of Bo Nix and a great college career at Oregon, and that's why it stings, but you can also understand it. 480 yards, 10 of 15 on third down. It's a team ball game, and football's the ultimate team game. Alrighty, guys, that is that. I will still most likely, as disappointing as it is, I will still most likely be watching tomorrow, Georgia and Alabama. And hey, if Oregon fans, if this will make you feel better, you never know what the committee was going to do with Texas. You never knew what they were going to do with Alabama if the nightmare scenario happened. You've won the Pac-12 championship many times, a Fiesta Bowl trip to Arizona. You got to enjoy the sport of college football. Alrighty, guys, have a great night.